didn't bring cough drops in here. Oops.
You have a whole new set of allergies in Texas from Arkansas.
No, actually, the allergies are the same. I just am choking on my tea. Good morning. Okay, I'm being unfaithful. I'm drinking tea, but it's coming from jasmine flowers, which is fun.
Jodi's in Texas right now on the road.
I am on the road. I have changed my ringtone to on the road again. Willie Nelson. Okay, let's turn the volume down on my phone so I can see you guys. There you are. So good morning. Finally, I have really good Wi-Fi, computer set up, the shawl covering the closet door, and bowls next to me. So yay, I get to be here. Yippee, yippee. So welcome, Jenn, and welcome everybody.
Good to be together again. You know, I had to do a solo one by myself last month. It was shorter because I didn't have somebody to banter with.
It was really hard bantering with ourselves. I don't know, man. We can get the inner kids in on it and the guys and just have this inner architect psychic banter going on.
Lucy is here. I've got her tail end.
I don't think any of the cats are in here. I think they're out there.
Oh, you're staying with some cat people.
Well, yeah, I've been staying with cat people, and I brought they got really funny Saturday because I packed up all the gongs and bowls and put them in the truck for an event yesterday. And they went into the, oh my God, she's traveling again. You know, they went into that place. And we're like, no, coming back the same day. So I get home and Pearl parks herself on top of one of my gong stand bags and is like, I'm staying here, so you can't take it. So that's where she was last night. Hi, Roland.
Hi, Roland. We missed you in Sedona, but I can't wait to see you in the Catskills.
Ooh, Catskills. Where are the Catskills?
I forgot the name of the resort.
What state is it in?
It's in New York, up the Hudson River Valley.
Oh, how beautiful.
About an hour and a half outside.
There's Mary. Are your ears burning? I just heard the story of how you guys met.
Hi, Mary. Mary gave me this great candle. I was showing it off last night. She sent me this great candle. It's a very, I can't say it online, but don't F with my energy. Very Aries. Very. When when I've done videos, ghost talks and stuff, I've said, I always carry that intention of don't F with me. That you got to carry that protection.
Okay, what is she? Oh, do you want me to look it? I don't know what she's asking. I like the candle. Funny, I had somebody accuse me of being very Aries, and I'm like, well, Scorpios and Aries are similar, with the same boundary of don't F with me. So,
and it smells wonderful too.
I had to drink tea today because I am actually working on a massage table and my coffee cup is tall and skinny butted. And I'm like, I do not want that falling all over the place. So we're going to get the weighted bottom cup.
Mary sent me a bath bomb also with the candle. And Mary, I haven't used it yet because I have a small bathroom downstairs, which is where my little soaker tub is, my little clawfoot tub, where I do my bubble baths and stuff. Ooh. And I put it in there, on my little shelf to use it next time I do a bath. Well, it smells so wonderful and it's fragrancing the whole bathroom that I was like, I don't want to use it yet. I want to let it fragrance the bathroom for a little longer.
That is wonderful. The house that I am moving into, when I finally get it, has a giant bathtub with jets. And, and it's an early 2000s house. So it's got all the ledges around it and a window. So I can put plants, crystals, smell good stuff, and, privacy in a beautiful altar bathtub. I can't wait. Hi, Justin's mom. It's good to see you.
when I used to travel the world, when I worked in the corporate world, I always traveled with tea lights. I would just take the
Mhm,
cups in my suitcase
mhm.
because I'd burn them up as I traveled and didn't have to bring them back home. But I would just line the cups up down the edge of the bathtub at night and take a
Exactly.
candlelight bath every night to relax.
Exactly. That's me. Hey, Paisley. Oh my God, it's so good to see you guys. It's been way too long.
We missed you last month.
Man, I have missed being live. And it was finally just like, okay, I don't know when I'm moving into the house, and I can't predicate my life on one day when. So it's just like I started going live Friday. It's like I'm just going to, I have Wi-Fi. I will never go to a house to work that doesn't have Wi-Fi again. That was stupid. I didn't ask the right questions. Because I was supposed to be on Johnny's birthday, and I'm like, yeah, I'm excited, And then it's like, oh God, there's no Wi-Fi in here.
Uh-oh.
Oops. So
Yeah, I find I go on at weird times because I'll go live like in between readings if I have a chance or something sometimes. So
hmm Patricia, you've migrated over from Facebook.
we've got her on YouTube now.
Yeah, I just didn't want to deal with both. It's like I'm just going to do YouTube and get back in the swing of it.
Morning, Kelly.
Good morning. Good morning. So happy new moon, Memorial Day.
Happy
I am,
coffee.
yeah, coffee and tea. And I'm staying at the home of a really decades long friend of mine, Sacred Sister. And we watched the PBS Memorial Day military thing, and we both are from that history. So it's like every time Taps comes on, we're just like, bah. So it's been interesting. My dad's been dead, the Marine, he's been dead 26 years now, and her husband died last year. So it's a different Memorial Day for me. I usually don't pay attention to holidays, and I have been this time. You are property sitting, Marie. Where are you? Okay. Are you still in Texas? I'm over in the Fort Worth part of the DFW. I've been going back and forth between D and FW.
To those who have military that have family or friends that they've lost, we thank them for their service and
Yeah.
for helping us to keep our freedoms.
Yeah. Yeah. Gemini new moon, 2 degrees. Oh, good grief. Paisley's going to be on a new moon. I can see you like swinging off the new moon hook. That'll be fun. Denton. Okay, thank you. I'm sitting here trying to figure out where Fenton is. Like, I've not heard of that town. They invented a few. All the tarot readers brought me over. Yeah, oh God, you've got to be over here with the tarot readers. That's fun. They got me over a long time ago. Your mom is in Fort Worth. I am staying in South Fort Worth. I said something about an event in Fort Worth, and somebody's like, "It's a big city. Where?" So
Jodi
yesterday,
is busy next Monday, and
yes,
I was busy on Tuesday, so we decided to pull this up one week. We normally do this first Mondays of the month, but being a
yeah,
holiday weekend, it was kind of good, and with everything going on in the world, it was kind of
yeah.
good to move it up a week.
Really? Next week, I am working for somebody who's having training in a town called Granbury, which my inner kids call Cranberry, whether it's named that or not. Like, okay, don't say that out loud publicly when I'm in her sacred space. Your second girl is in the Navy Reserves. Oh my goodness, bless her, bless her, bless her. So it's been an interesting week in
How,
Texas.
how how are you staying centered? I mean, aside from what's going on in the world, you've had all this upheaval with moving and stuff. How are you staying centered?
I reached a point because moving meant going and putting everything in storage, which a friend and I spent a month filling 2 storage rooms before the movers moved the furniture. And And then I was trying to plan this trip, and I got to the point where I had the attention span of a gnat, and literally couldn't watch movies, I couldn't watch anything because I would look at it and my brain would be going, and so I really got to practice the practices that I had. I really got to look at what I'm doing for practices. And my bottom line of when I am stressed and the world looks like it's gone to hell in a handbasket is go outside and seriously look for beauty. And living on the lake, I am eternally grateful I'm not in that house. It was extremely toxic. Living on the lake, I mean, all I had to do was point me in the phone out the window and take pictures, and there it is. It was easy. And being on the road is more of a sacred practice for me because I have to intentionally look for it. And I'm in suburbia. There's no expansive sky around suburbia. So I've been having a really good time enjoying my friends' gardens, the close up of flowers. And that is just like, okay, because somebody asked me, God, is there anything good going on? And I'm like, I got a picture of an itty bitty little tea rose, and if you can only smell it, so it's nature for me. It's always nature. And that's what grounds me into why I'm here and what I'm doing on this planet.
It's interesting. I did some, I do automatic writing. I did big into angels for those who don't know. Um, and Raphael, Archangel Raphael, was writing with me one time about the Akashic records that were born with the toolbox. So all those things we've learned in previous lifetimes and all
Mm-hmm.
those tools that we have that we come in with, and then we add to our toolbox
Mm-hmm.
in the
Mm-hmm.
lifetime. And you just got to access that toolbox, don't you? You got to get back into it sometimes to get
Yeah.
centered.
Well, I had an event yesterday with a good friend, and I haven't seen her since I moved, and she's a gong player, and that's how I met her. And we actually have never played gigs together, so we've done two now, which has been an absolute delight. And I was talking to somebody in the gong thing that we did about sessions, and I'm like, look, my guides and I give homework. And she's like, homework, and I'm like, daily sacred practices. Because we have to use the tools. We have to
Yeah,
we have to
my
identify and use them.
my practices in the winter are different than in the summer. Obviously, if you've watched my channel, I walk Lucy in the labyrinth, and then there are times where I'm going out there, without her. And I just built my new garden bench because my garden bench was rotten, and I had somebody that gave me a new bench. So
Ooh.
I have a place to sit and have coffee and enjoy the
Mhm,
garden, and
mhm,
that's
mhm,
that's where my go-to, in the summer months, spring and summer and
mhm.
into fall. In the winter time, my sacred space is bath. Bath is
Oh
like
yeah,
cleansing,
yeah,
clearing, and I
yeah,
meditate in the bath. I love it. Candlelight bath.
yeah. That's so cool. I haven't had a bathtub to get into for years. I'm very much looking forward to that. And there's a
Uh,
creek there's not a lake, there's a creek,
yeah. So
which will
you're
be.
gonna have water in a different way at your new place.
Well, and the thing that's really cool about this place, because it's in an unincorporated, no HOA kind of location with, 2 acres and a whole bunch of land around it, is we can do drum circles and literally wheel gongs down to the concrete pad by the creek and play music outside, which
Oh,
I'm
nice.
really looking forward to.
Oh,
It's
you'll have to
really
do a Sacred Sounds of Coffee by the creek one morning. That would be fun. And
after summer.
maybe I'll go outside and do it from the side of the labyrinth. We'll do an outdoor one.
Let's see. I have a couple of 100-foot Ethernet cables that I could probably cobble together, so we could do that. Just get the computer Etherneted in. Yeah, I fully intend to do a lot more work outside because I can play music and I can do the drumming, and everybody that I've shown pictures to, because this is flat. This is on the flatland with the hills above. Um, all of us can see the labyrinth that we are going to build in the front yard. I
Yeah,
mean, we can all see
picture.
it. It's like it's right there. We just, I've shown it. I've shown the picture to a couple of the shamanic types, and we're all like, "Yep, there's labyrinth there." So that's
I
gonna be
knew when I bought this house and it had an above ground pool behind the garage, I could just see that pool's coming out. There's a labyrinth going in, and
exactly.
gave it to my former lawn care guy. He's now no longer servicing my area, so I had to buy a lawnmower.
Oh no.
Thank you, Sharon, for posting links for us.
Thank you, Sharon. Hi, Teresa. Yeah, it was. I was sort of giggling over the fact that I have made it through 66 years without ever having to mow lawn. Okay, that was like got a badge of honor for that one. And to rent this place, I have to take care of. Yeah, I have to pay for or take care of 2 acres of lawn, and I'm sitting there going, hmm. And and one of my friends who used to live in Chicago drove a Zamboni in Chicago, the ice,
Yeah,
whatever they could, the ice rakers. And when she saw the picture of the place, she's like, "I will pay you to come drive a riding lawnmower so I can have that experience again." I'm like, done. you know? It'll be fun. And
so
then
it's,
we're all doing okay, how do you get rid of, okay, I don't know if any of you guys have chiggers. There are chiggers in Arkansas that just, oh my God.
they're the
So
worst.
one of my friends who's got ranches up there, I'm like, how do you get rid of them? She goes, get guinea fowl. And I'm like, God, my first shamanic teacher had those. And she called them star chickens because of the spots on them. And they would jump up on the window ledge when we were doing shamanic work, and they'd all line up and just stare at us. I'm like, I'm going to get star chickens. It'll be fun. It will be fun. So, what do you do? What are you doing to ground yourself with all this adventure in energy out there?
Much like you, I'm spending a little more time outside, between readings as my schedule allows or
Hmm.
whatever to stay centered.
Hmm.
I always go to more automatic writing, when I'm going through times where our inner peace is disturbed.
Hmm.
Um, and then, I always fall back on that serenity prayer, to
Hmm.
the ability to
Hmm.
change the things I
Hmm.
can, to accept the things I
Hmm.
can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. And it's very difficult sometimes when accepting to me, when you see horrible things going on in the world, um, you acknowledge, that it happened and everything, but trying to get back to your peace inside can be very difficult.
Yeah.
Accepting doesn't mean that it doesn't sadden you or anything, but it's looking at it as it's one more thing that you've experienced in your life, and detaching from it enough that your emotions aren't all wrapped up in it.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Trying to
Yeah.
find a neutral place with it so that you can
Yeah.
um, look at it differently. I've got a cat hair on my lip, so thanks for I'm like, where is it? There's a hair somewhere. Um,
That's hysterical. I've had that happen in the places I've been staying. It's like, is it my hair or is
yeah,
it a piece
is
of
a
cat?
cat hair. Um,
I
I
love it.
was automatic writing a little bit this morning with the angels. I was just going to read a little of what they wrote.
Mhm.
Accept what will welcome peace into your souls. Connect to that peace and harbor no ill will that robs your peace. So letting go of ill will, regrets, hate, anger, fear, all those things. Let go
Mhm.
of it. You don't have to send love either. Just go neutral,
Mhm.
neutral
Mhm.
path.
Mhm. Mhm.
Choose what frees your energy to build bridges to possibilities. Find hope forming particles of possibilities to unify us with our soul's journey. So, even in light of tragedies and difficult things, there are some possibilities that may come from this, and trying to
Mhm.
stay
Mhm.
hopeful. Um, there's a difference between hope and faith. Faith to me is like a strong belief, like you're just in it, everything will work out and everything. But if you can't get to that, hope starts to build the bridge to that, to where
Mhm. Mhm.
you can recognize there are some possibilities that will come up.
Mhm. Yeah. 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 I work and teach the medicine wheel as a healing and inner child work structure. And I've always called the center of it. the sacred paradox, and I've started calling it the sacred neutral, because it's that ability to stand in the center and look at what's going on or feel what's going on without taking it personally. It's like where the tree of life stands. So we're stronger in sacred neutral. And it's not about ignoring compassion. I mean, most of us have really strong compassion. It's about being able to witness the world as it is and broadcast certain frequencies into the world that invite some of the harder energies to shift. So for me, that's sacred neutral. Hey, Rosemary and Tanya, grandchildren and gardening. I know, God, I miss gardening. It's a bad thing about putting everything in storage. It's like, I don't have any plants.
They were also writing with me this morning that your intentions are maps on your journeys. So, where your thoughts and intentions go, that's where you're heading. So if you're like, angry and blah, 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 all riled up, that's what you're going to manifest in your own space is that, you get with somebody and you're talking on the phone, you just rile each other up talking about current events and stuff. It's hard to come down, and get centered again. So being aware of your thoughts, and what you're creating in your own circle. Serenity is accepting what intentions you take from to knowledge from within, and feel like your journeys are traveling to new ways of working on your intuition and new ways of nearing your unity with love. Because everything, whenever you get, riled, you're separating from love. Whenever you're fearful, regretful, angry, whatever, you're separating from love. So everything's to align us back with love.
Yeah, I work with intention in all my sessions and the events that I do, and it's been very interesting because I'm on the road working to remind people that we're setting intentions, and so I asked people in yesterday's event to set an intention and describe what that meant, because it wasn't, there were a few people in there that were not feeling well, so it was, I don't feel good, I want to feel better, and and I'm like, that's not the kind of intention that's going to bring you on that pathway. And it was really fun because somebody was sick to her stomach, and this was how she processes the energies that's going on out there. And and I'm just like, I have a healthy gut and I have freedom. And she just, you see her whole body go into alignment, at that kind of intention. And my one of my original shamanic teachers, who is the one that's actually still alive, he went around the world creating peace sound chambers. And I studied with him when he was in Texas. And so everything was in a sacred circle and a medicine wheel. And he was one of the first authors. I mean, now it's sort of like everybody does this, but he was one of the first authors that would write books on, if you're thinking it and then you speak it, whatever it is, you're creating that. And what I've seen as a sound healer is if you're thinking it and it's really loud and it's fueled by upset, you're creating that. You don't even have to speak it. Speaking it makes it more powerful. Writing it makes it more powerful. So a lot of the practices for me around dealing with, the time we're in as humans and Earth is to pay attention to what is eking out of the brain. And, and as anybody who follows my channel knows, I'm always inviting in the heart first and then up into the head, because the heart has cleaner brain cells. We can be in that place of love and be accepting of the fact that there are emotions that come through us, and we have a choice of whether we want to attach to them and make up narratives about them. And it's not easy. It's very easy to go into that victim frequency babble that most of us go into at times. So just to be able to stay grounded and breathe. And I think breathing is probably the biggest
Yes,
tool.
because
Just take a breath.
if you've got those friends that want to get you all riled up, also, and want to keep you in that agitated state, you may find like you have to break away from them, or not answer
Mhm.
the phone call when they call. You don't have to answer the phone every time,
Yeah.
to find your own center again, and then you're at a place where you're more able to deal with someone that keeps you agitated. It was funny because this morning we were laughing because I came over to connect in with Jodi on StreamYard, and
Mhm.
my cards are sitting on my table, but the devil card was laying on the floor right here beside my chair. I'm like, I don't remember dropping that last night. Apparently, I'm supposed to talk about the devil, which the devil card for me represents ego. And, ego, it's choice. Like, we can decide where we want to put our energy, and we can get our egos out of the way a little bit. Um, it can be the seven deadly sins also, but for me, the biggest obstacle, which is what the devil card represents to me, is an obstacle, is detaching from that ego a little bit, so that you're looking at things in a little bit more perspective, having a little
Mhm.
perspective on things. You're not just
Mhm.
looking from your own two sets of eyes. You can detach
Mhm.
from it a little bit and look from the
Yeah.
outside in.
Well, and that's I am trained and degreed as a cultural anthropologist, and women's studies was my minor. And one of the the interesting thing about anthropology, and because that was like a long time ago that I graduated, and almost every theory of anthropology has been disproven now, which is really funny to listen to scientists going, "Oh, everything's different." You have to be willing to grow. So it's been fun, and one of the teachings, and this was at UCSD out in California, which is where I started it and finished it in Texas. One of the teachings was to, and I find this a really sacred teaching, spiritual teaching, was to be able to look at cultures or groups or animals, because animal anthropology was one of my favorites, and be able to stay contained enough and detached enough to witness what was going on without inserting my storyline. That was part of the scientific way to do it. And then if I was going to be in a group of people that I did not know, a culture I didn't know, learn the language. And this can be energy language or verbal language or just
Body
the
language, yeah.
body language, but learn the language of the group I was with so that I could not walk in there confronting them because I was different, kind of thing. And that teaching has helped me in being grounded in the differences that go on in the world better than anything I've learned in school. Because, most of what you learn in school you never use. But, I've gone, especially doing sound healing when I was traveling full time, I have gone into different cultures and I go in teachable. Even if I'm going in to teach something, I go in with the intention of being teachable. And I remember when I used to travel to Laredo, I was very obviously the only white kid, the white anything in the room, and my sponsors were not white, and they were able to coach me in the culture of this is what they can hear. They cannot hear the word meditation. They can, our group cannot hear channeling. They don't want to hear about cards either. They don't want to hear about half of what I like, but it was like, okay, learn the language they can hear, and don't get attached to having to teach it through my own filters. It was really fascinating.
Yeah,
And for me, that has taught me to appreciate differences out there
yeah,
and to be able to witness some of what's going on in the world and attempt to see it from the perspective of other people. So,
I would see that in my travels because there were a lot of people like I would take them overseas, like to Asia, different places in Asia for their first time. So I was educating them on how to travel and work with factories and things
Yeah,
in Asia. And
yeah,
well, I took several courses of anthropology when I was in college because I loved it. I took one
yeah,
as an elective. And I was like, oh, I got to take more of this. This is cool.
yeah, yeah.
And I always try to immerse with the locals, wherever I'm at,
Mhm,
whatever
mhm,
country
mhm.
I'm in. But
Yeah,
I've had people that I would travel with, like they'd be fine in Europe, but they'd get into Asia and there was a prejudice. And
right.
it would come through like, like I don't want to
Yeah,
work with and they make me
yeah,
go talk to them all the time and everything. And I'm like treating them rudely. And I'm like, you're not going to get what you want with that face on. Would you
exactly.
please smile at them or something and
Yeah,
show that you're willing to work with them because
yeah,
you're sending up this wall of disgust, which is sickening and it's not necessary. It's like, and if you allow embracing other cultures, I had some incredible metaphysical experiences because like the factory owners and stuff, they would embrace me and they would take me and show me places in their country where I had these incredible experiences. So embrace each other. We're
yes,
more alike than we are different. Embrace
yes,
each other
yes.
and our unique, to your point, like our references are different.
Mhm,
How we say things,
mhm, mhm,
how we language things. So
mhm, mhm.
finding ways to bridge the
Right.
gap there to where we're languaging. I had a fundamentalist Christian I used to work with that told me he was worried about me getting into metaphysics and using words like karma and stuff. And I said, well, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I said, that's Jesus trying to teach you about karma. That's
Yeah,
karma, baby.
yeah, yeah,
And helping him to understand like my words are the same as what Jesus was talking about in the Bible. So um, finding a common ground to help people
yeah.
understand where you're coming from, but also to understand where they're coming from.
And that for me, in a world that is extremely polarized on
Mhm.
every level, which ours is right now, um, when I am meditating in the middle of my medicine wheel in sacred neutral, watching the judgmental Scorpio human part of me react, because that part of me does. It's a practice that has helped me just stop and breathe and witness. In the Zen order I was in, it was about witnessing reality to expand, and it's given me. I mean, I have a very different upbringing. I was raised in the Marine Corps, and my dad was at war all the time, and very Republican, and I'm a little more liberal now. But it puts me, and I have one brother who's on either end of the spectrum, and it puts me in the center point of I want to hear what's really going on with people for us to polarize the way we are, and for me, it's about be kind. No matter what's going on, be kind. Even if I disagree with somebody, be kind. And as a Scorpio, don't take any shit either. I mean, I said boundaries,
Yeah.
so gotta have both. But it's been. I mean, I love that my military upbringing, because we moved all the time. I mean, we we're constantly all over the place. My military upbringing, rather than making me fearful, it made me inquisitive. Ask questions, find out about the places I was. We were in Hawaii for about 9 months, in the Vietnam War. And my favorite class in Hawaii as a fourth grader, whatever I was Hawaiian history from the Hawaiian perspective. That's the kind of thing I want to hear, because I know my white perspective is skewed, in a certain way. So I love learning as a way to expand my reality and as a way to stay calmer in the face of some of the issues going on right now. It's helped through what
When
we've been
you're,
going through.
we all run into people that they're just so wrought with angst and anxiety, sometimes they just need somebody to listen to them. And if you keep going deeper with them and say, well, why does it make you feel like that? Well, why does that make you feel like that? Like, keep going deeper with them. It diffuses a lot.
Yes.
They get it out and they start feeling like they're heard, whether you agree with them or not.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's all about just acknowledging it makes you feel like that.
Yeah, I've been doing inner child work in my healing practice for 35 years, and I don't have kids, so I never got to experience this with actual children. But doing inner child work, my job is to hear what inner kids want to say. No judgment. I mean, no judgment, because that's usually part of what wounded most people is extreme judgment.
Yeah.
And it's really, I'm a pattern recognizer in anthropology and in life, and it's really interesting to see that most of what humans need and want is to be heard, respected, loved, and feel safe. And, that's when I'm looking at how to deal with difficult energies. It's like, okay, make sure I'm paying attention to getting my inner kids witnessed, heard, hugged, loved, and safe. And then I can be of service out in the world, in the same way. And we were talking about intention earlier. This is something that I've seen in sessions that I'm gonna speak about. There's a lot of fear frequency roiling out here, as I'm sure most of you have noticed. And I've watched clients completely clear the frequency out of their body in a session and then sit up from the table and call it back in by owning it verbally and shoot them right back into fear frequency. In the intention world, one of the most powerful things we can do is to not say anything long enough if we're doing healing sessions to go, okay, what did shift and how does it feel? Because when people are, I'm afraid this is going to happen, after an hour and a half of energy work and shadow work, you speak it right back in.
Yeah.
So in intention, have an intention to, okay, my card, Beyond Lemuria, I pulled the evolution card, which is about doing just that. I mean, if we want to grow and evolve, we're going to have to break our own patterns. Healers cannot do that for us. That's the homework. Yeah. That's the intention. So if I've let go of a big pattern rather than go, oh my God, I'm afraid it's going to come back in, it's like, let me sit with it not being here and breathe and see what that feels like for a minute. Yeah. So, and this is something we used to teach in a workshop that I ran called Warrior Monk. We would do reality creation exercises over the 4 days. And one of the teachings was, if you really can get yourself into a completely new reality for 3 seconds, that's all it takes for the brain to go, ooh, I have that neural pathway. Let me develop that one. So there's a lot of invitation in the field to hop back into fear and chaos, and practicing staying in peace, breathing in a different,
I love that. Like, get into it for 3 seconds. Bad habits are hard to break, right? We've all had bad habits of some kind, and thoughts, bad thoughts and everything. It's a pattern that it's a habit, and learning to break that, to relanguage the brain. Can you find the awareness to see when it's happening, so that you can immediately replace the thoughts every time they come up again? And that's the key. It's like developing an awareness of, oh, here I go again into that habit, whether it's, scarcity, lack, victimhood, anger, resentment, whatever, fear. Anything that's not love is fear. So it's relanguaging that brain space, and it takes practice. It's not something that's done overnight.
That's the homework.
I do energy healing work. All the chakra clearing in the world will not help that person when they get off the table if their brain goes,
Exactly. And that's, and I'm seeing that down here working with people, because some people get off the table and they're like, they know how I work and they're like, yeah, we got a new pathway now. And some who I've not worked with get off the table and reclaim their right to be completely terrified again. And I'm like, okay, that is your right, but God, you just wasted time and money on this. Like, give yourself 13 seconds. Um, and in the workshop I was referencing, we used to do paradox work. God, this was my best teaching on paradox. And we would, and the one that stood out for me, the one I remember the most, was we would work with reality creation around conflicting statements. So the one that I was dealing with at the time was, I can dance and I cannot dance, because people were attempting to get me into trance dancing as a spiritual practice, and it was like the brain was saying I can't dance. So it was a big deal, you know. And I remember going, because there's a whole, you know, process that you go through with your partner as we split into partnerships. And you would go through the, you know, the partner would say, create the reality I can dance, or create the reality there is a God, or create the reality, you know, we would go the whole gamut of different paradoxes. And I remember with the dancing one, because it was something I was working on, um, when I hit the create the reality I can dance and sat in a place of zero doubt that that was true, it actually rewired my entire body. I could feel that and everything rewired, and I was able to do it after that and enjoy it. And I used to think, okay, if I'm going to create a reality, I'm going to have to sit here for 15 minutes in the reality and make really good friends with it. And, you know, my coaches, my mentors, like, no, give it about 2 seconds. You
Yeah.
got the pathway. So that's the spiritual practice here, you know, of just create a different
There's,
reality.
you know, I realized what you were doing was a spiritual dance, but to me, all dance is spiritual. It's like you want to change some energy, blast some music and dance.
Oh, yeah.
That'll move some
Oh,
energy real quick, and everybody can dance. You may dance, you know, weirdly, I'll say it that way, differently, but everybody can dance.
yeah.
Everybody can move and get their
Very
energy
soon
flowing.
after that, I lived in a very small town in California at that time. This was actually really funny. And all of my girlfriends in this town, I mean, most of us were non-drinkers. We would go to local bars in this town of, you know, 3,000 with live music, and we would trance dance together. We just dance. And I remember, this was so funny. You know, some very drunk man walks up to us and he's like, how come none of you will dance with any of us? Like, are you all gay or what's the deal, you know? And we're like, no, we're praying. And he just looked at us and he's like, I've never heard of anything like that with music and day. You know, this was raunchy rock and roll. And I said, we're just praying through movement and music. And you know what I mean? Because it wasn't, no, we don't like you. It was just, we're doing something else. And I mean, and he was just like, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. You
Yeah.
know? And because it was like, if you want to dance with us, come on in. You're just dancing with a pack. And very few men could hop in on that, you know, in that kind of setting. But it was such a beautiful prayer to use music and movement. We
Movement,
can do that hiking, you know, walking. You know, that's another way to lower stress and deal with hard energy. Yeah.
movement of some kind. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's been
when
fun.
you're moving energy, you know, if you
Yeah.
move just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and if the energy, I mean, I am in Texas as all this stuff came down. I'm just like, what are the chances I'm back down here? And when, I mean, regardless of where I am, I usually psychically feel the energy of something coming before it hits. And it's either the day before or the day of, which both of the school shootings in Texas in the last 3 or 4 years, I've felt both of them. It's sort of like a rip in the space time continuum. I can feel it. I can feel it coming, because in shamanic work, there's no such thing as past, present, future. It's all going on now. And and being here, feeling what is happening, it's like I can't get lazy with my practices, and that's usually okay. I'm stressed out. I can't do my practice. That's usually what the brain says. I'm sorry. I don't have time for this. I'm stressed, and and it's been really interesting to just force myself, as a skill set of. I know what to do. I have instruments out all over this house. I have, the gong. I have space to set up the gongs and to go use what I use to lower stress and broadcast that love frequency into the field.
Taking care of yourself first doesn't mean that you're not compassionate or feeling for others that are suffering through loss or
Yeah,
anything, but you come from a much more grounded and
yeah,
centered place
yeah,
in offering support and offering healing
yeah,
and offering, whatever someone needs who is hurting, if you take care of yourself first. So
yeah,
um,
yeah.
it's always a good practice to find your own center a little bit and then reach out to the
And then reach
community.
out. Yeah, and that's what we're all doing around here. I mean, we're not in the location, and we're in Texas,
Yeah,
and
just
Texas
being
has a
kind.
different frequency than Arkansas. I mean, there is a difference. And one of my friends is like, I can't believe you're actually here for this. And I'm just like, okay, I prefer to be with the trees at the moment. And there's obviously a reason why I'm here for this because I damn well know how to get out with gongs and pray, you know?
Yeah,
And I had somebody in my little gong bath yesterday who is a sound healer and a musician that I've never met in person. And she's just looking at me and she's like, you don't do that like normal people. It's because I'm on this heavy metal praying, I'm doing Ho'oponopono. I'm broadcasting in the field. I'm not banging on metal. It's a pipe ceremony for me. And she could tell the difference.
yeah.
It was really interesting. I'm like, yeah, this is how I do it. The instruments tell me how they want to be played, and we work together to shift frequency.
You have practiced it also. Anything you want to get better at, you have to practice it. So
Well,
if it's
yeah,
relanguaging the brain, you have to practice
yeah.
it.
Well, back in the early days of the heavy metal sound healing, which has been 20 years of that and 35 years of shamanism, I was in the ego fear place of holy crap, I'm charging money to play music and I'm not a musician and yada yada. And I asked the question in my second concert, my bowl concert, I asked the question of the guides, why me? Why are you choosing me to do this? Because this is not something I would think up myself. And they said to me, you've been trained shamanically for 15 years now. You know how to get out of the way so we can use your body to play music because we know what we're doing. And I'm like, well, yeah, that part's easy. And they're like, not for most humans, sweetheart. So it was just this, oh, okay, you're the cosmic musicians. I'm the one with the hands. And they said, yeah, and you need to be using both of those hands with sticks. Like pick up another stick. And once I got that, it's like my learning was to actually learn a little bit about music to know why what I was doing was working musically, which has been fun. I've always loved music, but as far as how the instruments are played, I break every freaking rule out there. And some of my trained musicians look at me and go, you do break all the rules, but it works because of the way you do it. And if I teach you music, I got to stop before I get you in your head. I'm not in my head when I play music.
It's important to take care of yourself first, before you reach
Yeah.
out. Like I did a candle lighting video Wednesday morning. I
Hmm.
was not ready to do that Tuesday night. I had to
Hmm.
get centered and
Hmm. Yeah.
because I had been doing readings all day, so I didn't hear
Yeah.
what happened till Tuesday night.
Right.
So you know, I took care of me first before I got on YouTube with hundreds of other people that
Yeah. Yeah. We have to.
yeah. So take care of you first, honor yourself first. You'll be more effective at helping others and find ways to become a little more aware every time you're separating yourself from love. Every time you're not aligned with love, you'll start to see the patterns, and that awareness will help you to break those patterns.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
everything that happens is always just trying to align us with love again. That's what life experience is about, trying to get us aligned.
Hmm. I agree. Speaking of aligning, it's time to do ceremony and music.
I think so.
I think so.
I sit here while you're talking, and I make some little notes for the meditation. These meditations, I'm always a little bit of a fly by the seat of your pants, but a little bit of channeling also,
Yeah.
and a little bit of note taking from what comes up in our conversation, because I like um, the free flowing conversation sparks something that I want to call out in the meditation. So, any of those um, that would like to light a candle with us, I'm just going to ask Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Ariel, and the Hathors, correct?
Hathors, yes.
The Hathors, the Hathors. We surrender to your mercy, compassion, and healing. We thank you for initiating a spark of hope. We thank you for bringing our awareness, how we can spark with our hope a little bit of change. We thank you for bringing tolerance to our awareness. We thank you for helping us to unify our light with divine light again. We thank you for building those bridges of hope into possibilities. We thank you for reflecting our light out into the world. We thank you for lighting one candle within us that reflects outward to the world.
Okay, I'm going to be moving off camera because of the way the room's set. So
She is traveling.
I'm traveling now. For a moment, put a hand or both hands on your heart center and start breathing mindfully. In sound healing, the first instrument is our breath. So just start breathing. And imagine that you're standing outside in nature, barefooted on the ground. And you're standing in a circle of stones or trees. And it's a very big circle. It's big enough to dance in. And you are standing in the center of this circle in sacred neutral. Just noticing your four directions of body, mind, spirit, and emotions. And as you breathe into your heart center, with an energy of gratitude, you open that chakra, you open and activate the heart cells. And these heart cells can go beyond grief, if there's any there, and hold sacred space for grief at the same time. So just breathe. Bare feet on the ground. And as you completely activate your heart cells, we're going to first go to earth. activate your feet so that you grow some roots into Mother Earth. If you imagine you're a tree, you're getting your roots and trunk stable. And breathe. And if you're willing, you receive some energy from Mother Earth going up your feet, legs, chakra system. Keep breathing. And as you travel up your body, you're going to activate your gut brain. So you're going from earth to gut to heart. And from here, you're going to breathe gratitude into your head, into your mind. Head and heart come into harmony, into a state of coherence, as it's called in heart math. You're still connected to earth, to your gut, to your heart, to your head. You have a connection out the top of your head to the big picture, whatever you believe in bigger than you. And you are standing of sacred, neutral, sacred paradox. Fully present in your world, in your heart, in a state of love. And able to fill yourself and fill that sacred circle that you started in. If you have any frequency left over, you can offer that through your heart center back out into the world for others to scoop from if they need it. sound of the chime bring your focus back to your heart. And take a moment to set an intention for your day or night, whatever time you're listening to this. It's in present tense, it's positive, it's proactive. And my intention in everything that we are doing together is to be of service for the highest good. And come back to your breath. And just focus on the quiet in your heart. And experience that reality for just a few seconds. And when you're ready, come back into your room. And thank you.
We've missed that last month. The sound bath.
Oh, bye.
We had a meditation, but we missed the sound bath.
The bowls are just a little magical.
And so glad you're traveling with some.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm traveling with so much stuff. I've had to offload a few things to friends of mine going, okay, you take care of those and I'll be back to get them before I go to Arkansas. It's been funny. So, thank you. Thank you, Mary.
We will not have a June Sacred Sounds of Coffee because today was the June one. We'll be back July 4th. Oh, on July 4th.
Ooh, I'm up for that. That would be
I think our theme needs to be freedom.
Freedom!
I think we got a theme for July 4th. We'll be back on my channel for Sacred Sounds of Coffee.
Oh, God, that sounds like fun. Okay, we can have like a dance party because we know we have to dance to move energy. We'll just do freedom. Oh, my goodness.
I'm writing it down on my calendar so I don't forget. That's too funny. Falling on July 4th.
Yes.
So we're hitting all the holidays.
We're hitting all the holidays. So the animal medicine that we're bringing into today, the beautiful sacred one that I played gongs with yesterday, when she left the place we were at, she and a friend went to a park up there somewhere. And she took pictures of what looked like a great horned owl in the tree looking down at her. So we bring an energy in the sacred pathways of wisdom.
Owls are my animal totem, have been for years. And hawk, which is the daytime equivalent of owls.
Yes.
Yesterday before going live, like I could hear the owls, even though it was daylight, the sun was starting to set. Yeah. I could hear the owls coming through the window because I had the windows open. I was like, oh, I love that. I live in an area that's got a lot of owls, and it's a lot of fun. They always end up living somewhere where there's owls and different types of owls, but I love that energy.
Yeah. I'm staying in a place that's in the suburbs, and I heard a great horned owl during the day yesterday before we got over to what we were doing. So it's like, we'll just have some beautiful owl medicine wisdom going on. So I guess it's been a day for all three of us, for Sabrina and you and I. So thank you, everybody. This was, oh God, it's like coming back home. I needed this. Thank you. And thank you.
I know you're up early in Hawaii.
Ooh, Hawaii. Time is it? 11 o'clock.
It's early.
Yes.
Thank you all for joining us. We just love doing these. I'm thinking about doing a weekly or bi-weekly, maybe something in between our sacred sounds on angel energy, like doing some
Yeah,
light channeling and
yeah,
automatic writing and stuff, doing some little messages, part of Team Namaste, as Johnny calls it.
yes, that's a good idea. Oh, you're in Washington. Yeah, yeah. I'm starting. I'm going to start back up with doing live streams on a regular basis because it's just it's I get to connect with people I love in the room that we're in and the people I love out there with you guys. So
I
most
forgot she
definitely.
moved stateside. Welcome back to the mainland. Thank you all, and we will see you July 4th.
July 4th for freedom.
And it'll be, where's Jodi now?
I know. I told my future landlords because they're babysitting 4 of my gongs. I'm like, I intend moving in July 1st. Let's make it so. So, like I have a lot of control over that, right? That's my intention. But thank you all. We will see you next month. Obviously, we'll see you before that. And together, we'll see you next month. Bye. Love
Bye.
you.